Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Bacău, Bihor, and Bistrița-Năsăud in Romania. Now, if you didn't see yesterday's video, I have to catch up on my regions of Romania in my series where I go to every region of the world in alphabetical order. I messed up Romania. I have a lot to catch up on. We're going to hit half of the B counties today. So, that being said, let's get into it. Continue our Romania mania, which is very aptly named because, listen, if yesterday's video seemed a little unhinged, it's definitely because I had an energy drink and ate Skittles, which Skittles to me is like, it's just a lot of sugar. So I'm really hopped up right now. I do feel a little manic, but it's just a sugar rush. I'm going to crash so hard after I film this video. Just you wait. Anyway, if I get really sleepy at the end, you know why. Let's see if you remember if you saw yesterday's video. Let's go over the 3 historic regions of Romania. Over here on kind of the northwestern area of the Carpathian Mountains is Transylvania. Transylvania. I feel like that's the easiest one to remember. Everyone knows Transylvania. Down here, kind of southeast of the Carpathians, is Wallachia. And then up in this corner is Moldavia, which is where the nearby country Moldova gets its name. That area used to be Bessarabia, but became part of Moldavia. They kept the name during the split. But that's a story for another day. Let's see. So tonight we're going to be in Moldavia when we visit Bacău, and then Transylvania for the other 2. But here in Bacău, you can see there's the town right there. We are in the Carpathian mountain range all along here, and then it spreads out into the Moldavian plateau pretty much once you cross the river here, whose name I forget. I'm hopped up on sugar right now, you guys. It's mostly farmland. It's pretty quaint and small. There isn't too much to say about this county, but it is very pretty. We'll talk a little bit more about this area here. Let's hop up to Bistrița-Năsăud because, like Bacău, it's also very quaint with mountains and countryside. Pretty much any source that I found about this county could not state enough that this is literally quaint, traditional countryside with old customs, old traditions, festivals, clothes, costumes, of the goodies of rural Eastern Europe, which sounds great, doesn't it? But it is quite mountainous up here. This would be technically the Eastern Carpathians. You can see the Oradea Mountains National Park up here, which of course we'll take a look at on Google Earth. But pretty much this whole area along here is all pretty mountainous. And the rest is mostly just farmland and little river valleys, little oxbow lakes and things. It's very cute. Then we have Bihor, which, like the others, has got mountains and some plains. Named after the Bihor mountain range you can see right here, which is up alongside the Apuseni Mountains, which we talked about in yesterday's video. It gets much flatter as you head toward Hungary, which this county border is very important to its history. They're Hungary. You can see the capital of the county, Oradea, right there in the crease of my hat blitz. So, history of these regions, we're mostly going to be talking about Bihor because there's a lot of history that happened here. But I think we're going to start up in Bistrița-Năsăud, especially you can see the town here, that's Bistrița, that's Năsăud there. County's named after those two areas. This place was mainly settled, well, it was settled by a couple of people. There were, of course, the ancient Dacians that lived throughout most of what is today Romania. They would be there prior to the Romans conquering the area north of the Danube. But many other people settled here after the decline of the Roman Empire. Lots of different Turkic peoples moved into this area, which is quite interesting. But the most famous settlers of this region arrived in, let me check my notes, 1206, and they would be known as the Transylvanian Saxons. Now, apparently, the Transylvanian Saxons weren't actually from Saxony. They were Germanic, but they weren't from what we would call Saxony today in Germany. So I wonder why they're called that then. But nevertheless, they migrated over eastward to find a safe haven for one reason or another. There was no specific reason for this migration, but just many German peoples congregated to this area here and settled. The Tatars and the Mongols would have swept through these areas, destroying everything in their path, including the fort here. Not fort, the citadel, that's a better word. The citadel had been built in what's now Oradea in the 1100s. It would have been destroyed in 1241 by various invaders and would later be rebuilt a couple of times over. We'll, of course, look at it on Google Earth. But the most infamous invaders from the east in Romania were the Ottomans, coming through trying to conquer Hungary. So Transylvania during this time was part of the Kingdom of Hungary. The Ottomans would come in and conquer. The Hungarians would push them out. The Ottomans would have some successes, especially over here in what's now Bihor County. Hungarians would push them back out. The most serious conquest that the Ottomans achieved would be in 1660, and they would hold on to Oradea and this region until 1692, when they would finally be pushed out for good. It was a very large conflict, very destructive war, and Oradea was pretty much obliterated during that. So when the Hungarians got hold of it, for good at least they thought, they got hold of it, they said, we're going to take this destroyed city and make it beautiful. And they designed these buildings gorgeously. It's like a little Budapest. It's absolutely gorgeous Art Nouveau style buildings. They're all so pretty. They look edible. They look like cakes. They look like gingerbread houses. And they're just stunning. There's also some neoclassical buildings, and it's absolutely beautiful how they designed this town. Big fan of that. I'd love to see it someday. Let's see. Just going over my notes, making sure. Fun fact. In this area here, Bistrița, in 1713, the Transylvanian Saxons expelled all of the Romanians, which is just a weird thing because it's part of Romania today. Obviously, they came back at some point because I looked at the stats. The town is 90% Romanian. But that came up whenever I researched this place. That little history fact always popped up. So I feel like I have to mention it. Let's move on to World War I. At this point, Transylvania, still part of Hungary, but now it's Austria-Hungary. The two kingdoms/empires merged. And they lost World War I pretty bad. And Transylvania wound up being given to Romania, which Moldavia and Wallachia were now Romania. They got Transylvania after the war. Now, the Hungarians were not pleased about this whatsoever, and they went to war against Romania in 1918, 1919, and there was a lot of fighting in this county and in Oradea during that. But the Romanians would win out, and they would hang on to Transylvania until 1940, I believe, 1940, during World War II, when Hungary allied itself with Nazi Germany, and Nazi Germany said, you know what, just ignore all that stuff that happened in 1918. Transylvania's yours. And Hungary went and snatched it up. Now, there were many Jewish communities in these areas. All three of them in Bacău as well over here. But they're not mentioned nearly as much as these because Bistrița in particular suffered very much. The Jewish population here suffered very, very much during World War II. So did the population of Oradea, but they very much bounced back, and it's very rare when I get to talk about the populations of Jewish peoples during World War II in Europe and say their populations managed to recover, and there's a thriving, very large Jewish community there today. And we can say that about Oradea, which is very nice, isn't it? That's a happy ending there for that community. After World War II, Romania would come under the Soviet sphere of influence, becoming a Soviet satellite state, and would become very communist. And the Soviets loved industry a lot, and they really pushed industry very, very hard on all of the territories they had influence over, including Romania. So Bacău in particular became very much an industrial town. Bistrița, kind of, sort of, but there's other towns around. You can still see their old factories on Google Earth. And yeah, Oradea as well. But definitely Bacău went from just being a tiny farming town to like heavy equipment, big manufacturing there. And from what I could tell, still is, but I don't think nearly on the level as during the Ceausescu times, which of course is over, ended very dramatically in 1989. And now we have Romania today, which is a very beautiful, very pleasant country, and apparently very quaint. According to every source that I read, called this area quaint. That's really sweet, isn't it? To have the reputation of being quaint, quiet countryside. That's quite nice. And of course, Oradea is still very beautiful today. Why don't we check it out on Google Earth? Let's hop over to the tablet and check out some of these places on Google Earth. Let's go. Here we are, starting in Bacău County. But of course, let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. If you don't know where Romania is, that's okay. You're about to learn right now. Here it is. We're here in Eastern Europe. Kind of in that corner between the Balkans are over here, Central Europe, and then Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Moldova, all of that. And then the Black Sea right here. You can see the Carpathian Mountains swooping in like this. Very easy to spot. And you can really see the plains over here alongside the mountains. And then we're going to come over here. Goodness, I'm lost, Bistrița. But there. So you can see the plains area over there. And then we're going to go Oradea. You can see the mountains into the plains. But let's start over here in Bacău. Now there's really only two very large towns in Bacău. The first one being Bacău. Let's find it. And Onești is the other, but I'm saving that one for last because Obviously, we have to look at Bacău and Bacău County. Where did it go? Is it being covered up by this? I know it's just up here. Hold on. How did I lose it? But you can see all the farmland here, right? I did not find very much on Google Earth here. Wait a second. Like, where did it go? Is it over here? How did I lose a whole town? I'm already... It's almost bedtime. I can feel it coming. Oh no, the crash is coming. No, I gotta finish this. What in the world? I hope it's not like obvious and you can all see it. And you're all like, it's over there. Little Blue's Clues moment. There it is. Holy moly. Bacău. Now I have to remember what I wanted to show you here. I remember finding something really great. What was it? I just blanked. Oh my gosh. It's almost time to hit the hay. I can feel it coming. The crash is coming. Oh darn. Oh goodness. Deep regrets. But yeah, big old bustling city, right? You can see all that industrial influence here in the big block apartment buildings. All of these huge structures around. Very industrialized for the little farming community, right? The little farming area. Well, there's the astronomical observatory. I was reading about this and then I couldn't find it, and now it pops up. Look at this. I love space. I'm so sad that every time I do a video about space, it does absolutely terrible. And I wish I could talk more about space. If I post videos about space, you guys gotta watch them. Look at the moon landings. Because to me, facts about space and other planets, that's still geography to me. That's still learning about places, just not on our planet. I love space. I'm falling asleep, you guys. Here I am moaning about outer space. My goodness. I don't remember what I wanted to show you. There's the McDonald's drive-thru. I literally don't remember what it was I found here that I was like, oh, I gotta show them that. It's completely... One of you will be like, well, why didn't you look at this? And I'll be like, that was it. That was the thing I wanted to show you. I literally don't remember. All I can think about is what I want to show you in Onesti. Because I'm about to talk about another hyperfixation of mine. Which is women's Olympic gymnastics. Let me see. Now I've lost the other town. There it is. Onesti. Because this is the hometown of the iconic, the one and only Nadia Comaneci. If you don't know your women's gymnastics, Nadia Comaneci was the first gymnast to score a perfect 10 at the Olympics. She's an icon. She's amazing. She paved the way. Absolute queen when it comes to women's gymnastics. She completely changed the game. And look at this little, maybe having Olympic dreams of her own. It's so fun. I could never. I did ballet. I didn't do gymnastics. Look at how cute. She's gonna be a little Nadia Comaneci someday too. Yeah, I picked dance over gymnastics. And every once in a while I'll be like, did I make the right decision? Because it's so fun to watch gymnastics. It's incredible. But yeah, I looked around this county and couldn't find any other like really interesting slideshows, which is unfortunate. So you guys are going to have to recommend any if you poke around here yourself, or if you're Romanian and be like, oh my gosh, why didn't you look at this thing? You have to let us know in the comments. I really don't remember what it was I wanted to show you. It is absolutely time for bed. My goodness. Maybe it'll come to me when I'm looking at other areas. Let's head over to the other side of the country and look at Bihor County. Let me type it in so we can see the borders. Bihor County. Named after the Bihor Mountains, which is this little range over here. There's the Apuseni Natural Park. And there's all kinds of pretty waterfalls and terrifying caves as well. But I want to show you my favorite cave, the Bear Cave. Because it is very scary. Look at these stalagmites. That's a little creepy. And look at these big old cathedral style stalactites. But this cave is home to many, many, many cave bear skeletons, which is an extinct type of bear that lived 15,000 years ago. So this cave isn't really it's kind of creepy, but I wouldn't call it scary. I don't know, there's something kind of unsettling about caves to me. Nutty Putty Cave absolutely ruined my life hearing that story. And now I have like a very distrust of caves. But this one's a little interesting. It also looks very safe and paved out so you can traverse it very safely. But yeah, there's always something a little eerie about caves, especially ones with all kinds of like features like this. Very interesting, but there's all kinds of caves. I've learned that Pishtera means cave in Romanian, so I know maybe don't look at those when I'm not quite feeling up to it, just in case they creep me out, because there are some pretty creepy caves in these mountains. But instead of looking at those, we're going to go look at beautiful Oradea. There it is up here. Beautiful, beautiful Oradea. I'm going to show you my favorite building first, because there's all kinds of just absolute beautiful, beautiful places. My favorite is the Moscovitz Palace. Look at this. Is that not beautiful? It's like Disney built it. Like, it's so gorgeous. Look at that color. Like aquamarine. It's like a little mermaid house. And all of the buildings here are so detailed and just, I love it. Look at all the trim on the top there. It's so pretty here. This whole street is like the most beautiful street in Romania, I think. Sorry, Bucharest. You tried. I don't think you can beat this. And like I said, it's kind of like a little Budapest here. If I showed you this and said this is in Budapest, you'd probably believe me, but it's not. It's in Romania. Isn't that pretty? All lit up at night. And they've got all kinds of statues and things as well. This little castle, isn't that gorgeous? Look at that balcony. Beautiful, beautiful buildings. Let me see, I found a slideshow that shows this whole street here, but I have to really zoom in to find it. There's the Opera House, which there's, or the theater. But I'm pretty sure there's pictures in this slideshow I want to show you. Let's see, I really had to zoom in. Because I was like, there's got to be one for this road. And then I found it, and I was very pleased with myself. But now I have to find it again. Where could it be? And this is the, I guess, Republic Road. They got little eateries in the middle of it. It was like over here. It was on a street corner. Maybe it's up here. Oh, there it is. I just have to look a little harder. Look how pretty. Beautiful. So that picture, look at that. Like goldenrod colored. So palatial. See, that's the theater. Isn't that pretty? Neoclassical style with the columns. And the, I forget what that's called. It's not a spandrel. Frieze? I forget what they're pretty. Whoa, drone show. Oh, we're gonna look at this place next. Hold on to that thought. Isn't it pretty though? Oh, I'll need a little pop out. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Also, reading about Romania, looking at all this Romania, I'm so in love with the little church roofs that look like hats. It's so cute. I love how just everywhere I look in Romania, you can find a church with hats on it. So that building that I showed you is actually not on this side of the road. It's across the river. And it is the Black Eagle Palace, which was a hotel once upon a time. Might still be, I can't tell, but there's lots of shops. And it's beautiful. Like, look at this. It's almost like Barcelona in its curves, and there's the Black Eagle there and the beautiful stained glass. And this is like Paris. Like, it's gorgeous. Look at beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, this is a gorgeous city. They really went hard on rebuilding the city. They didn't have to go that hard, but they sure did. Like, even just the little regular homes are cute, and the little boxy homes. Reminds me of like Copenhagen or something like that. Or like Amsterdam. They really got little bits of Europe all over here, didn't they? But yeah, that's my favorite. Here's the old citadel. You can see the star shape there. Let's go check out what's the best slideshow? That one or the museum slideshow? Probably just this one. This one's probably showing you all the stuff inside, which is still neat. But I want to show you the actual fortress. Yeah, I want to show you. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Like soldier outfit and like a lady outfit. And we want to look at the actual fortress because it's really cool. Very neat from above. And a little pentagon shaped structure there right in the center. There's a very old part. Old church with the little hats on top. So quaint. Oh, that's right. So there is a statue in here of, his name's on the tip of my tongue. Here it is. Ladislaus, who was a Hungarian king. This statue here is the first statue in Europe of a dude on a horse. It was made in like the 1300s. Awesome, right? I imagine that like maybe in China they had dudes on horses, statues, terracotta army, you know. But this was the first one in Europe. Pretty cool. Little hats. Oh my goodness, rising from the sand. My goodness, he's emerging. Alright, let's get out of here then. That was our sign to leave Oradea. Beautiful Oradea. My goodness. I would say this is probably my favorite town that I found in Romania, but you're gonna have to wait because I got 2 more days of Romania after this, and I found some really beautiful places. I mean, we're looking at Bran Castle next. That's your preview for the next video. Tomorrow we're going to see the Dracula Castle. Ooh, the Dracula Castle in Transylvania. Spooky, spooky. It's not spooky. Let's head over here. Actually, I'm going to put the borders up so that we can see. I am so going to sleep after this. Can you tell that, like, it's like sleepover energy? You girls out there know what I'm talking about. When you're at a sleepover and there's just like a peak of just like, you're just like wild and then everyone goes to sleep. That's where I am right now. I had way too much candy. here's the borders. Countryside. Lots of beautiful farms. And here's the mountains. Let's look at the Oradea National Park, which is so pretty. It's like Scotland or something. I'm trying to think of like, what does this remind me of? Like the Palmiers or something. Like, it's so pretty. All this green. Oh, can you see the waterfall there? There it is. Much closer. That's beautiful. It's like a multi-layered waterfall there. All these beautiful valleys. He's camping out there. I don't blame him. There's also lots of scary caves in these mountains as well. Apparently the deepest cave in Romania is in this park, but it's definitely not tagged on Google Earth. Isn't this pretty? Gosh, we're going to Iceland soon. It reminds me of Iceland. When Iceland is not all icy. Because we're not going to the icy part of Iceland in my video that we're going to next. Let's see. But yeah, there's beautiful waterfalls and scary caves throughout. Feel free to poke around, see caves, waterfalls. Feel free to check them out yourself. I remember what I wanted to show you in Bistrița was the museum here, which is a cultural museum, and we can see some of that quaint countryside that every source that I read about this place talked about. Here's a little traditional building here. Kind of reminds me of the Norwegian stave churches. I wonder if it's built the same way, but whenever I see anything talking about traditional Romanian homes and buildings, they all look like this. And yes, the hats are included. Let's take a look. That's a pretty garden. Look at all those different trees and plants. I wonder if they got like all the different plants that grow throughout the county and planted them around. That's pretty neat. That's what it looks like. Little kitchen. Little kitchen area. Big cooking pot. And here's what I love. I love seeing cultural costumes. Isn't that so pretty? If you're big on The Sims, which, hello, you're my friend. They released this one pack about life and death, and they based it on Romania, and they did an absolutely terrible job. It's like nothing like Romania at all. So to apologize, they released some Romanian clothes, and they gave us these style of dresses. So I can make my Sims wear these, and they're really pretty. Absolutely beautiful clothes. Oh, and animals. Oh no, not the Arabian oryx. That's my favorite. Oh, poor things. And look at this depiction of the crucifixion. Very detailed. Looks like Irish almost in its detail. But yeah, that was what I mainly wanted to show you, because I wanted to show you the clothes. But there really wasn't much else to show you here. It's all mostly waterfalls and caves, which I suppose I'll show you one to end this video. Actually, you know what I'm going to show you to end this video? This little town down here, which is one of those randomly industrialized places that I told you about, left over from communist times. Look over here. There's an oxbow lake along this river, but this one is a salt oxbow lake. And I was like, why is this a salt oxbow lake? I've never heard of such a thing. And I couldn't find it. So I need you Romanians out there to tell me, why is this oxbow lake a salt lake? Surely this was done on purpose. Maybe it was some kind of like Soviet communist experiment. Look how pretty. That they're like, let's harvest salt here. And they dumped a bunch of salt and now it's destroyed. I don't know. That sounds like something the Soviets would have done. Or at least the Romanian communists inspired by the Soviets. I don't know. But someone has to tell me why. I'd appreciate that very much. I'll pin your comment if you do. And look, they're splashing around. They're having a little Dead Sea moment in the salt oxbow lake. I would too. I want to go to the Dead Sea so bad just because I want to float on it so much. But anyway, that is where I'm going to end this video tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Again, we're doing more Romania Mania tomorrow. I'm not going to film it right now. I'm going to go to bed. But you will see it the day after this comes out. And like I said, we're going to Brasov, which is a great town. I've had a lot of fun researching that. Really interesting. And we are going to see the Dracula Castle. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good